Every year, it seems like the summer season goes by quicker. I can see the changes of fall all around, and there's a part of me that wants to hold on to this last bit of summer forever. The transition into fall has always been a hesitant one for me, but the autumn season teaches us how beautiful it can be to let go and rest. With shorter days and cooler temps starting to arrive, I've been feeling the need to start slowing down after a really busy summer. Just as nature is preparing to rest, so am I. This week, I started teaching myself how to crochet, and this is a skill I've wanted to learn for years now, but I've been a little bit too intimidated to try. My 30th birthday is coming up within the next few months, and I really wanted to learn this skill set before that, so I went and I started to watch YouTube tutorials and teach myself how. You know, if I ever have a plot of land one day, I think it'd be really cool just to have a sheep or an alpaca, harvest their fibers, learn to spin, and use that yarn for projects. Over the years, I became really fascinated by learning the old skill sets. The generations before us acquired so many skills in their lifetime. A lot of these skills continue to be lost because of convenience. Convenience is an amazing thing, but I feel like some of the magic is taken away from the process when choosing the easier option. I've always been a pretty curious person, and I always want to learn something new, and we're diving into a season that I can do just that. This is exciting. I just got my first 2 loofahs. I feel like I have maracas. Can you hear that? Can you hear the seeds rattling around in there? But I have so many that are starting to change color. You can see this one's changing color. These 2 are changing color. These ones were just starting to change color like last week. So they dried up so fast. I'm so excited to break these open and look at the sponges. I have so many loofahs right now that are forming as well. This plant really started to put on flowers, and I have all these little ones. I really don't know if they're gonna mature in time before it gets cold, but now that these dried so fast, I might be able to get a whole second harvest of loofah as well. Because I have these 2 here, this one, this one, this one. So I have, 6 more as of right now that I will be able to for sure harvest by the end of the year. And at this current moment, I have at least 15 to 20 smaller ones. So this is just off of 2 plants. This is absolutely crazy. Oh my gosh, holy crap. So this is my first time, obviously, harvesting loofah. It's not my first time growing it. It is my first time harvesting it. And so a lot of people say that you just need to let it sit on your counter for a few days to completely dry out, and more of those seeds will release because there is like a slight dampness to it. I was seeing that if you let them go too long past like this browning stage, they could actually rot inside. So I wanted to make sure I got on top of that. Oh, I'm so hyped. You know, there's so many things that can go wrong in a year, and then there's so many things that can go right. I am getting the rest of my fall crops planted out. I can't believe the only other thing going into this garden space after this will be garlic. So I direct sowed a bunch of stuff a handful of weeks ago, but this is stuff I started inside. I've been hardening it off over the last few weeks, and it's definitely time to go out. Our days have still been a little warm for my liking to get these planted, but if I don't get these planted out, I'm worried that they won't mature in time before our days really get shorter and it really gets colder. So that's the toss up with fall gardening. Your days are getting quite a bit shorter, so if you don't plant by a certain time, your plants might not mature because they might not be getting enough sunlight. So I am putting these in two of my sunniest beds. This is where I had the garlic last year. I'm actually going to be planting garlic out where I currently have the peppers, I believe, just because, again, sunny spots. I'm going to put most of these fall stuff here, and hopefully that will do good. I'm also worried just because with it being my sunniest spot, and we are planting out a little later and we are still hot, I'm worried that these might prematurely bolt. Fall is just honestly a gamble, but I love fall green, so I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. Wow, it is such a beautiful morning. I told myself I was just going to come out with my coffee this morning and sit in the garden and enjoy it and not work on something. I advise you to do the same if you're starting to go into this fall transition. We only have a handful of mornings like this before fall really kicks in and the summer garden really starts to fully die back. I've had a lot coming out of the garden this week, and honestly, I need to get the rest of my sunflowers out. They're really starting to look dead as of lately. And this is always the time of year I really struggle with when all of my flowers start to die back, especially my sunflowers. My sunflowers are my absolute favorite, and especially when my goldies start to go, because those bloom for almost 2 months, it always makes me a little hesitant on the transition of fall. So if you're new to gardening, this is something every gardener experiences, and I kind of think of it as you're about to give your art piece away and you're about to start completely over. You've worked so hard on something the entire year, you planned, you executed, and now everything is coming to an end. Endings are never easy, and I think it's important to remember that. I think fall really shows us the beauty of an ending and how rest is needed for our everyday life, and in nature we do need to slow down. I always say I want to live somewhere that's warmer and I can garden year round, and I do have a pretty lengthy season. I will still be able to get a lot going in this garden probably through November, December, because I did plant out some fall stuff, and I'll be putting up some frost fabric and everything. But ideally, I've been really looking forward to this break as much as I feel so hesitant to see the garden go. And I'm sure you are going through this whirlwind of emotions as well, where one minute you are so excited that you're about to go into fall and winter and you can start completely over, especially if you had a hard season. You get to completely wipe clean and start over. And that's one reason I also love gardening. It's just always weird going through the transition times, because just like winter into spring, winter you are a lot slower, and then spring gets here and it feels like you have to throw your feet on the ground and just run because you have 50 million projects that you thought of that you needed to do during winter, and your spring is just insanely busy, and then that leads into a summer that's being insanely busy, and the next thing you know, it's September and you have no idea where the entire year went, and now it's time to slow down, and you're so used to being go go go, it's a little bit more difficult to slow down. So that's one reason why this week I really started to pick up a secondary hobby, which was learning how to crochet. Last year, if you guys have been following me for a while, I picked up pottery, and as much as I love pottery and I feel like I was pretty naturally talented at it, I hated the mess and the cleanup of it, just because I already deal with so much mess and cleanup in my everyday life when it comes to like cooking and chickens and my cat and this garden and all that. It's a lot of maintenance, and pottery is a little bit more always having to be attentive to. I like that. With crochet, I can easily just pick it up and stop every 5-10 minutes if I need to. So I really am enjoying it. I'm really excited about it, honestly. I thought I might be able to pick it up somewhat easily just because of my old hairdressing background, but I advise you to start diving into some hobbies or something that you've been wanting to try during this time of year. And this is also the time of year I like to really do a lot of research before I start buying seeds and start to plan out my next year's garden. You might think I'm absolutely crazy, but I do start planning out my next year's garden at least like come October when I'm planting the garlic, just so I know exactly where the garlic is sitting. And then I really get into all of my planning come December, January, because I do a lot of seed starting in February, March. So really just know the gardening season might be slowing down, but it's never coming to an end. And enjoy the moments of slow down. Take a moment, get a cup of coffee, go sit in your garden, and enjoy the beauty for every moment it's worth right now. Just go soak it in. Because I mean, guys, look at this trellis. This trellis is amazing. I've been coming out here every morning because I've been watching all of these monarchs. So I have all these monarch caterpillars on my compost pile, and I've been finding all of their cocoons. And yesterday, I don't know how I caught it. I caught a monarch actually coming out of its chrysalis. And I also caught another one starting to form its chrysalis at the same time, but I only have this one camera, so I couldn't film both at the same time. So I caught the very end of the other. But there's so much magic still going on around us. You have to find it in the nooks and crannies.